Hello, welcome to Nobody's Watching 3 a.m. News. I'm your host, Daniel Paz. In today's news, the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising has finally ended, and this is how it happened. The German Nazis captured and ordered Jews to remove every article of clothing and took everything they owned. Then the Germans told them to march off. And next, the Germans found a group of Jews in the forest and killed about 50 of them. Later, they breached the walls of the Warsaw Ghetto, and 10 military soldiers barged in. Later, 15 soldiers came marching through, and the Mila street general called out to the soldiers where the Jews were, and they killed 15. Then the Jews started to rebel, and they planted explosives and waited for the Nazis. The Jews fought for weeks. Tanks couldn't even make it through the wall. Months into the battle, when it was all said and done, 7,000 Jews were killed fighting, 6,000 were burned, and 56,000 were gassed. The Warsaw Ghetto fell after a heroic fight, but the idea of armed struggle, in the name of which the insurgents had died, reached beyond the walls, survived, and endured until victory. What happened in the Warsaw Ghetto is a tale of endurance, strength, and hope. The hope of a better ending. And now off to Brooks.
Thank you, Daniel. Hello, I'm Brooks Griffith from Nobody's Watching 3 a.m. News. Today I'm here with Dr. Coster. How are you, Doctor?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good. Today we're all wondering what exactly you did for all those Jews and how it started.
Well, basically, when a friend of mine, old Seacher, found 40 Jews, he thought maybe I could help them, and that's exactly what I did.
How did the nurses keep this secret?
Well, the nurses were very happy to help. Their only complaint were that there weren't enough Jews to keep safe.
When exactly did this first start?
This all started in 1943.
Thank you for all you've done. Off to Robert.
Thanks, Brooks, and this is the art segment. I'm going to talk about a poem made about the Holocaust, a terrible event where people were tortured and millions were killed. This poem is called Saving the Children. This poem has three characters, Katya and her mother. Oh, and also a capo guard. The poem was written about the time of the Holocaust. The setting of the poem is in a concentration camp where Katya and her mother were being treated horribly by German soldiers. Some people may ask, how is this poem important, and why is this poem important? This is a poem about the Holocaust. The poem is a cry to the world to recognize the Holocaust and its terrors, the people who suffered. I'm sending it up to you, Daniel.
Thank you, Robert. In 1942, a few children, Sophie Scholl, Hans Scholl, and Christoph Probst, were caught fighting Nazi forces by spreading anti-Nazi leaflets around their school in Munich. The leaflets entitled "The White Rose" and explained that the Nazis were imprisoning countless people and murdering them. In time, news of the White Rose spread all through Europe. Later on, the members of the White Rose were eventually caught and sentenced to death. No Hitler-supporting German ever understood exactly why they did it or how they got there. After all, they all had been from the best German schools and families. They were even a part at the Hitler Youth at a point in time. The answer was their parents. They persuaded them that the Nazi regime had become deadly. When they saw their children for the last time before they were executed, they were proud. Christoph Probst before he was executed, had decided to become a Christian. The first to be executed was Sophie. She walked to the guillotine without looking back. Next was Christoph. And as Hans was about to be decapitated, his last words were, "Long live freedom." Afterwards, a few of the other members were decapitated. Alex Schmorl, Willy Graf, and Kurt Huber. Today, the White Rose remains a memory that no German will ever forget. Long live freedom. Back to the studio. Thanks for watching. Nobody's watching 3 a.m. News.